Have you ever wondered what happens when you completely disappear from someone's life? Not just stepping back for a short break, but fully vanishing. No texts, no calls, no contact. Do you think your absence would leave a significant void in their life? If you've ever felt like you were treated as an option, someone taken for granted, then this video is for you. Imagine pulling away from a relationship or situation where you were the one always giving, offering care, effort, and sacrifice. What happens when you reclaim your power by simply walking away? In a world where people often think they can overlook your worth, sometimes the strongest move you can make is to leave quietly. Welcome to Stoic Insights, where we dive into timeless lessons from Stoic philosophy and apply them to modern life. In today's video, we'll uncover 10 emotional stages people go through when you disappear. From the initial sting of rejection to the panic of losing control, and ultimately to the realization of your true worth, each stage holds powerful lessons about self-respect, emotional independence, and personal value. Pause for a moment and ask yourself, are you ready to make them feel the loss of your presence? If the answer is yes, then don't miss a single moment of this video. This isn't just a lesson in handling relationships, it's a journey to rediscover your inner strength and affirm your self-worth. If you enjoy content about Stoicism and want to continue your journey toward becoming the best version of yourself, make sure to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so you won't miss any of our future videos. And drop a comment below. Have you ever disappeared from someone's life? How did it feel? We'd love to hear your story. Let's embark on this journey together and discover why sometimes disappearing can be the most powerful step you'll ever take. The first step, get ready to reclaim your value. Stage 1. The sting of rejection. The pain they never saw coming. Have you ever heard the saying, "You don't know what you have until it's gone"? That's exactly what happens when you disappear from someone's life. At first, they might not even notice. They're comfortable, taking you for granted, and confident that you'll always be there no matter what. But then, when you remove yourself completely, no warning, no explanation, no contact, their world begins to shift. The sting of rejection doesn't just hurt, it cuts deep, especially when someone believes they had the upper hand. People who take others for granted often assume a position of power, thinking they can control the dynamics of the relationship. They might not consciously realize it, but in their minds, you're the one who always bends, compromises, and accommodates. When you vanish, you deliver a silent yet powerful message. I will not be your safety net. This unanticipated rejection forces them to confront a harsh truth. They never truly had control over you. That's when the sting begins. At first, they might brush it off, telling themselves, oh, they'll come back, they always do. But as time passes and you remain absent, the reality sets in. They start to panic, questioning their assumptions and decisions. Why did they leave? What did I do wrong? How could I let this happen? This is not just a blow to their ego, it's a wake-up call. Rejection forces people to reflect on their own actions, whether they admit it or not. They begin to see how they undervalued you, how they dismissed your presence as a given, and how they failed to treat you with the respect you deserved. The answer lies in human nature. People are inherently wired to crave validation and avoid rejection. When you disappear, you strip them of the validation they relied on. You take away the comfort of knowing someone is always there, ready to forgive, to support, to care. But here's the thing. This isn't about revenge or trying to hurt someone. It's about creating space for self-respect and teaching others to value what they've lost. As Marcus Aurelius said, the soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts. When you stop allowing yourself to be treated as an option, you force others to reevaluate how they perceive and treat you. The sting of rejection is powerful because it's unexpected. It disrupts the status quo and leaves a lasting impression. This isn't about being cruel, it's about reclaiming your worth. By disappearing, you show that your presence is not something to be taken lightly. You teach them a lesson they won't soon forget, that respect, attention, and love are privileges, not guarantees. As the sting of rejection settles in, they'll begin to feel the void you left behind. This is where the journey truly begins, for them and for you. While they grapple with the consequences of their actions, you move forward with clarity, dignity, and the power of self-mastery. Stage 2. The void of comfort, what they feel when support vanishes. Comfort is a dangerous thing. It makes people complacent, blinds them to effort, and allows them to take for granted the very things that keep their world together. When you disappear, it's not just your physical absence they feel, it's the sudden removal of the comfort you provided. When someone knows you'll always be there, answering their calls, solving their problems, or offering emotional support, they begin to expect it. Over time, they no longer see your effort as a gift, they see it as an unspoken obligation. Your support becomes an invisible safety net that shields them from discomfort, but also keeps them from realizing how much they rely on you. The moment you withdraw, that net is gone. Suddenly, the tasks they took for granted feel overwhelming. The conversations they thought were effortless become heavy with silence. In the void of your comfort, they are forced to confront a stark reality. They were leaning on you far more than they ever admitted. This void isn't just a lack of presence, it's the absence of stability. Imagine a chair losing one of its legs. It wobbles, unstable, no longer able to serve its purpose. That's how they feel without your grounding presence. But here's the deeper truth. This void isn't your burden to carry. It is the natural consequence of someone failing to appreciate what was freely given to them. When you step away, they are left with the weight of their own inaction, their lack of gratitude, and their dependence on you to fill gaps they should have been addressing themselves. From a stoic perspective, this moment is crucial, not just for them, but for you. As Seneca reminds us, he who depends on himself is truly free. By removing yourself, you are freeing them from a cycle of dependence and freeing yourself from being the source of their comfort at the expense of your own peace. This isn't about being unkind. It's about setting boundaries and reclaiming your energy. Comfort, when overextended, becomes a trap, not just for them, but for you. When you stop offering it, you give them a chance to learn self-reliance and personal growth. In the absence of your support, they may initially feel lost, frustrated, even resentful. They might try to blame you for the discomfort they're now facing, but as time passes, the deeper lesson begins to emerge. They weren't self-sufficient. Your comfort had become a crutch, and its removal is the catalyst for their transformation. For you, this step is empowering. It's a reminder that you are not obligated to be someone else's constant source of stability. By creating the void, you allow both yourself and them to grow. This is not an act of punishment, it's an act of liberation. As they grapple with the absence of comfort, they'll begin to see the effort and energy you once provided. They may try to win you back, or they may realize they need to change. Either way, your role is clear: to move forward with clarity and self-respect. Stage 3. The shock of losing control, when they realize they no longer hold sway over you. Control is a subtle force. Often, people don't realize they've been wielding it until it's gone. When you disappear, it's not just your presence or support they miss, it's the quiet, unspoken influence they thought they had over you. The shock of losing that control is one of the most profound realizations they'll face. In many relationships, one person unconsciously, or sometimes consciously, establishes a dynamic where they hold control. It's not always malicious. Sometimes, it's as simple as knowing that you'll always be the one to compromise, to reach out, to repair things when they go wrong. They become accustomed to this pattern, mistaking your kindness and effort for submission. But when you walk away, when you take that dynamic and flip it on its head, their illusion of control shatters. Suddenly, the power they thought they held disappears. This loss is jarring. It's a shock to their ego and their sense of stability. The realization that they no longer hold sway over you creates a deep discomfort. They start to question everything. Why didn't I see this coming? What happened to the control I thought I had? This moment of reckoning is deeply unsettling for them. It's not just about losing you, it's about losing the security they derived from being the one in control. People often anchor their confidence in the ability to influence others. When that anchor is removed, they feel unmoored, left adrift in a sea of uncertainty. Control is tied to validation. When someone feels they can predict your actions or rely on your compliance, it validates their sense of importance and power. Losing that control is like losing a part of themselves. It forces them to confront their own insecurities and the truth about the dynamics of the relationship. From a Stoic perspective, this moment is essential, not for them, but for you. As Epictetus said, "He who controls others may be powerful, but he who has mastered himself is mightier still." By stepping away, you demonstrate mastery over your own life. You prove that you are not a puppet for someone else's desires, but a person who values their own independence and autonomy. One of the most jarring aspects of losing control is the unpredictability it introduces. They were used to you always being available, always responding, always trying to fix things. Your absence disrupts this pattern, leaving them unsure of how to respond. The power dynamic shifts, and they are forced to reckon with the fact that they no longer dictate the terms of the relationship. This stage is not about vengeance or proving a point. It's about reclaiming your power. By removing yourself from their influence, you make it clear that you are the one in charge of your emotions and decisions. Their shock is a testament to your strength and growth. As they grapple with the loss of control, they might lash out, retreat into denial, or even try to reassert their dominance. But the foundation of your decision remains firm. You've chosen freedom over submission. Stage 4. Regret and self-reflection. When they face their own shortcomings, regret is a powerful emotion. It's the echo of what could have been, the sting of lost opportunities, and the weight of choices made too casually. When you disappear from someone's life, regret has a way of creeping in. As the initial shock fades, they're left with a glaring reality. They contributed to losing you. And, in the quiet moments of self-reflection, they begin to question their actions, or lack thereof, that led to this outcome. Regret doesn't hit all at once. It starts small, a fleeting thought, a memory of something they said or did that they now wish they could take back. But as time passes, these moments multiply. They replay conversations in their mind, thinking about the times they dismissed you, undervalued you, or failed to reciprocate your effort. Regret is fueled by hindsight. They begin to see clearly how much you gave and how little they offered in return. It's not just the loss of your presence they're mourning, it's the realization of their own flaws. They see the opportunities they had to treat you better, to acknowledge your value, and they let them slip away. This stage forces them to look inward. For the first time, they're faced with the truth about their behavior. Questions like, was I too selfish? Did I take them for granted? And why didn't I listen more? Dominate their thoughts. Self-reflection is often uncomfortable. It requires honesty and humility, two qualities people may struggle with when they've lived in denial. But when faced with the void your absence creates, they have no choice but to confront these questions. From a Stoic perspective, this moment is vital, not just for them, but for you. As Marcus Aurelius said, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. While they grapple with regret, you remain steady, focused on your own growth and peace of mind. Regret often comes with a longing to fix what's broken. They may start to think about reaching out, apologizing, or asking for another chance. But regret is also a double-edged sword. For some, it fuels genuine growth and self-awareness. For others, it becomes a paralyzing weight, preventing them from moving forward. Their regret might not be enough to change them, but it forces them to acknowledge the role they played in losing someone as valuable as you. Whether they act on it or not, the lesson is clear. Your worth is undeniable, and their failure to see it is now their burden to carry. It's important to remember that their regret is not your responsibility. You're not obligated to return, forgive, or fix the situation. Instead, this is your moment to continue moving forward with clarity and dignity. Their journey of self-reflection is theirs alone to navigate. Stoicism teaches us that we cannot control others' actions, only our responses. Let their regret serve as a reminder of the strength it took to walk away. As Epictetus wisely said, "It is not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." As regret deepens, they may begin to seek ways to fill the void or distract themselves from the discomfort of self-reflection. But the lessons they've learned will linger, shaping how they approach relationships in the future. Stage 5. Panic sets in, scrambling to regain what they've lost. Panic is a primal response, an instinctive reaction when someone feels like they're losing control of a situation. When you disappear from someone's life after the initial sting of rejection and the dawning realization of regret, panic begins to take hold. This isn't just a fleeting emotion. It's a deep, unsettling fear of losing what they've now come to value. Panic manifests in waves. At first, it's subtle, an urge to reach out to send a quick message or call to check in. But as the silence stretches on and their attempts go unanswered, the feeling intensifies. They start to question everything. Why haven't they responded? Are they really gone for good? What can I do to fix this before it's too late? Their thoughts spiral into a frenzy. They replay every interaction, searching for clues about where things went wrong, hoping to find a way to regain the connection they've lost. Panic, at its core, is fueled by fear. Fear of losing you forever. Fear of facing life without the comfort and stability you once provided. When panic sets in, people often resort to desperate measures. They might bombard you with messages or calls, pleading for an explanation or a chance to talk. Some may try to invoke guilt, reminding you of shared moments or blaming you for walking away. Others might swing in the opposite direction, putting on a facade of indifference or anger, hoping to provoke a reaction. But beneath these surface actions lies the same truth. They are grasping at straws, desperate to regain the control they feel slipping away. This panic isn't about love or respect, it's about their discomfort with the void your absence has created. For you, this stage is pivotal. Panic can be persuasive, especially when it comes from someone who once held a significant place in your life. It's natural to feel a pull to respond, to reassure, or to ease their discomfort. But Stoicism teaches us to act with intention, not emotion. As Epictetus reminds us, if someone succeeds in provoking you, realize that your mind is complicit in the provocation. In this moment, you must remain grounded. Their panic is not your responsibility, nor is it a reason to abandon your principles. By standing firm, you reinforce the boundary you've set, a boundary that protects your peace and self-respect. One of the most profound effects of this stage is the shift in power dynamics. When you disappear, you take control of the narrative. Their panic is a clear indication that the power they once believed they held is now in your hands. This is not about wielding power over them, but about reclaiming your autonomy and refusing to be a pawn in someone else's emotional turmoil. As their panic grows, they might attempt new strategies to regain your attention, grand gestures, promises of change, or even apologies. But it's important to remember that genuine transformation doesn't happen in moments of panic. True change requires time, reflection, and consistent effort. This stage, while difficult to witness, is also a testament to your growth. By choosing to walk away, you've created space for your own self-discovery and healing. Their panic serves as a reminder of the strength it took to prioritize your well-being and the courage it takes to maintain that boundary. As the waves of panic subside, they'll be left with two choices: to continue grasping at the past or to begin a journey of genuine self-reflection and growth. Either way, your role is clear: to remain focused on your path and to continue building a life that aligns with your values. Stage Action 6. Anger or denial. Anger is a natural defense mechanism when people face loss. It's easier to blame you for leaving than to confront their own shortcomings. In their minds, the narrative shifts. How could they do this to me? I didn't deserve this. It's their fault for walking away. Denial often accompanies anger, especially when they struggle to accept the finality of your absence. They convince themselves that you'll come back. This is just temporary. They're testing me. They'll return when they cool off. Their anger is not truly directed at you. It's a projection of their frustration with themselves. Deep down, they know they've played a role in the situation, but acknowledging that feels too painful. During this stage, they may lash out, sending angry messages blaming you for everything, spreading negative narratives about you to mutual friends, acting indifferently, pretending your absence doesn't affect them. This behavior reflects their internal struggle. They are not angry at you. They are angry at the loss of control and the exposure of their own flaws. This stage is where your resolve is tested most. Their anger may provoke you to respond, defend yourself, or even apologize for things you're not responsible for. But as Marcus Aurelius said, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. Remain calm and composed. Their anger is their burden, not yours. Responding with grace, if at all, shows that you are no longer tethered to their emotional chaos. Stage 7. The shift toward acceptance. As the storm of anger subsides, they are left with the silence of your absence. Denial no longer serves them, and they begin to confront the reality. You're not coming back, and they have to face the consequences. This shift is often subtle. It might start with small moments of clarity. Maybe I did take them for granted. Could I have done more to keep them in my life? These realizations are uncomfortable but necessary. For the first time, they begin to accept that their actions and inactions played a role in losing you. Acceptance is a core tenet of Stoicism. As Epictetus said, men are disturbed not by things, but by the views they take of them. When they begin to shift their perspective, they take the first step toward growth. For you, acceptance is also liberating. It affirms that walking away was the right decision, not to punish them, but to prioritize your own peace and self-respect. Stage 8. The realization of your worth. In this stage, the lessons truly sink in. They begin to recognize the value you brought into their life, the emotional support you provided, the stability you offered, the efforts you made to nurture the relationship. This realization often comes with a mix of gratitude and regret. Gratitude for the time they had with you, and regret for not appreciating it fully when they had the chance. The realization of your worth is transformative, not just for them, but for you as well. It marks the moment when your absence shifts from being a source of pain to a powerful lesson. For them, this realization is humbling. They see the cracks in their behavior and understand the consequences of their choices. For you, it's a reminder of your strength and the value of setting boundaries. As Seneca said, true happiness is to enjoy the present without anxious dependence upon the future. In this stage, they learn the hard way to appreciate what they once had. And for you, it's a moment to embrace the present and focus on your continued growth. Stage 9. Acceptance of reality. At this point, they fully accept your absence. The anger, denial, and regret fade into the background, replaced by a quiet understanding that things will never be the same. This stage is bittersweet. They may feel a sense of closure, but also the lingering weight of what was lost. They might reflect on their actions and vow to be better in future relationships. When they reach acceptance, it's a victory for both of you. They've learned a lesson they might carry for the rest of their life, and you've reclaimed your power. For you, this is the ultimate affirmation of your decision. By choosing to walk away, you've created space for healing, growth, and a renewed focus on your own journey. Stage 10. The final realization. How your absence redefines their perspective. The final stage of this journey is where everything comes full circle. After experiencing the sting of rejection, the void of comfort, and the turmoil of anger, denial, and regret, they reach the most profound realization of all. Your absence has changed them in ways they never anticipated. This stage isn't about longing or trying to win you back. It's about facing the deeper truths your departure revealed. For both of you, this is the point of closure, where lessons are learned, growth is embraced, and the chapter is truly closed. It's often said that you don't truly appreciate someone until they're gone. By now, they've not only accepted your absence, but also begun to understand its significance. Your decision to walk away was not a random act. It was a response to their inability to value you while you were present. In this moment of clarity, they see the full picture of who you were in their life. The person who stood by them when they needed support. The one who offered kindness, effort, and stability. The partner or friend who gave more than they received. This realization is bittersweet. It's a moment of gratitude for what was and regret for what was lost. But most importantly, it's a turning point, a chance for them to grow from the experience. While they reflect on what your presence meant, they also begin to see you in a new light. Your decision to leave wasn't an act of weakness. It was an assertion of strength. You chose your peace, your self-worth, and your boundaries over being taken for granted. This shift in perspective can be humbling for them. They now recognize your value, not as someone who was always there, but as someone who had the courage to walk away when respect was no longer reciprocated. The final realization isn't just about what they lost, it's about how they move forward. This stage often serves as a catalyst for lasting change. Your absence becomes a lesson they carry into future relationships, teaching them to appreciate others, communicate better, and avoid taking people for granted. For you, this is a moment of closure. You've not only redefined your role in their life, but also reclaimed your narrative. This stage affirms that walking away was never about punishing them. It was about choosing yourself. As Marcus Aurelius said, "Dwell on the beauty of life, watch the stars, and see yourself running with them." This final realization is your star, an emblem of the beauty and power of self-respect. By stepping away, you've created space for both you and them to grow. This stage also reflects the ultimate lesson of Stoicism. We cannot control others, only how we respond. Their realization is their journey to take, while your responsibility is to remain steadfast on your own path of growth. The final realization closes the chapter, but it also opens new doors. For them, it's an opportunity to reflect and evolve. For you, it's a chance to continue building a life centered on clarity, purpose, and strength. As we wrap up this journey, let's reflect on the profound lessons hidden within the 10 emotional stages someone experiences when you disappear from their life. Each stage carries a unique meaning, offering not just insight into their feelings, but also a powerful reminder of your own worth. 1. The sting of rejection. This initial shock forces them to realize they can no longer take you for granted. Your absence is a wake-up call that shakes their sense of control. 2. The void of comfort. They feel the emptiness left behind, the space once filled by your support and presence. This void forces them to confront their dependence on you. 3. The shock of losing control. As they grasp the reality that they can no longer influence or manipulate you, they face a destabilizing loss of power. 4. Regret and self-reflection. This stage pushes them to examine their own actions, uncovering the ways they undervalued you and contributed to losing you. 5. Panic sets in. Desperation takes hold as they scramble to regain what they've lost, realizing too late that they never truly appreciated you. 6. Anger or denial. In a bid to cope, they might lash out or deny the gravity of their loss, trying to deflect the pain by shifting blame onto you. 7. The shift toward acceptance. The storm begins to settle as they start to accept the reality of your absence and recognize their own role in creating this situation. 8. The realization of your worth. They come to see the full value of your presence, reflecting on the kindness, support, and strength you once offered. 9. Acceptance of reality. Finally, they embrace the new normal, understanding that your absence is permanent and that they must move forward. 10. The final realization. In this ultimate stage, they fully grasp the impact you had on their life and carry the lessons of this experience into the future. Each of these stages underscores a simple truth. Your decision to walk away wasn't just an act of self-preservation, it was a powerful statement of self-respect. Now, let me ask you, are you tired of being a backup option? Have you allowed others to take your kindness and presence for granted? If so, it's time to make a change. Stop settling for less than you deserve. Remember, walking away isn't about punishing others, it's about reclaiming your power, your dignity, and your peace of mind. This journey is not for the faint-hearted. It requires courage, clarity, and a deep commitment to your own well-being. But the rewards are immeasurable: freedom, self-respect, and the knowledge that you control your narrative. As Marcus Aurelius wisely said, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. Let these words guide you as you move forward, choosing growth over comfort and strength over compromise. Before we close, let me invite you to share your thoughts. Have you ever disappeared from someone's life? What was the experience like for you? We'd love to hear your story. Leave a comment below and join the conversation. If you found this journey insightful and want to learn more about Stoicism, self-worth, and inner strength, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Turn on notifications so you never miss another transformative video. Remember, Every decision you make to prioritize your well-being is a step toward becoming the best version of yourself. Thank you for being part of this journey. Together, we can create lives filled with clarity, purpose, and strength.